One does wonder.
That's
Hello, people. Good morning, and welcome to Elevensies, the late morning show with Lisa and Anton Stewart. And just in case you didn't know, I'm Lisa, and he's Anton.
I'm Anton, and that caught me by surprise. I wasn't expecting it. Yesterday it fought spectacularly, a brave and valiant battle to try and stop us going online. But today it seems to be, working.
Well, today
is
Tarot Talk Tuesday.
Because it is Tuesday and we talk about tarot.
Good morning,
so
Brenda.
when you get going, let me get this.
You can tell I had a little extra caffeine today.
Oh no! Well, we got the perk coffee. I'm on
and
my
it's really funny that
cup.
Tuesday's Mars Day, and we're both kind of in these vibrant Marsy colors, and we don't get dressed at the same time.
Generally not,
because we share our master bathroom. This is probably too much information, but
careful now. It's a family show.
He'll go to the bathroom and go out candles in February, and Christmas stuff in August. It's because you have to be a minimum of 6 months ahead and possibly a year ahead for staple goods, right? And I'll talk more about this in the documentary, but as you can well imagine, with all that went on in India and all that's going on in the pandemic, supply has been entertaining.
Huge supply chain disruption.
And demand has been a little bit different as well.
Well, if you can't get it, people will try and get it anywhere.
Hi, Angela. How are you?
Number of people come in and buy multiples.
Mike. Shauna says Facebook is still on. Yes, it is. Yeah.
Well, I think YouTube's working now. If you want to check it out, it appears to be working for me. So I don't know. I think they were just having one of those rat fart moments. Who knows? It just does. Technology. Hey, what are you going to do?
Anyway, now that we think we're up and ready to go,
we think we're working.
We can start Tarot Talk Tuesday. Dun dun dun. What is the card for this Tuesday?
Well, it's we'll start at the very beginning because it's a very good place to start. But is this the beginning or is it the end of the cycle? Who knows? Because Setterfellow has a 0. He defies description. He is not. No, I'm not a number. I'm a free man. Okay. So moving on.
All right, you go ahead. Go for it first.
Oh God, I love these. I don't know. Should I go first? I think I should let you go first because I don't know. I love this card. I love this card so much. Ultimately, the Fool. When this card comes up in a reading, it is about a querent sat straight in front of you. Mm-hmm. Okay, there is no question about that. If they've asked a question about somebody else, redirect your attention back to them because this is about them, because it's all about the Fool's journey. And the Fool here is stood on this precipice, and people are, oh, look, you fall, you're going to fall. Well, he might.
Why are you going to jump off a cliff?
He might, but then again, his descent is assured because this is the start of the lightning flash down the tree of life, if you will. And the light that's behind him, some would say is the sun, but may not be. That might be the light of the supernals, like Keter there, for example. But it's kind of interesting because this does drive you when you're talking about stuff in the material world. This is about really acquiring less, doing away with things. The realization that the most important things in life simply aren't things. They simply aren't things. And it's all about the journey. And this guy's about to begin another cycle of the journey because it goes round and around and around and around, and the needle returns to the start of the song and we all sing along as before. But it isn't necessarily a circle either, Hopefully you can bring what you've learned back and apply it to this next turn of the wheel so that you've... You will learn never to work with pussycats,
Emmett
for example.
talking a storm today. He's silly.
But yeah, acquired very few needs and got literally everything they need in that little knapsack over their shoulder there. They've stopped and smelled the roses, but this is interesting. It's a white rose. Mm-hmm. That's important. Lisa's going to tell you more about that. I know that. But
I may or may not.
She may or may not then. All right. She may leave you in wonder. But the dog, also that faithful dog by the side of him, is hugely, hugely important as well. But he's absolutely found his happiness within himself, or herself as the case may be, because the Fool is gentlest.
Good morning, Savannah.
So whatever simply works for you. happiness is a choice. It's found within. It's not outside. Yeah, everybody goes around hunting. Have you seen my happiness? Where's my happiness? Is it over here? Who's got my happiness? Why can't I be happy?
You find not within yourself.
Exactly. So the fool holds great wisdom if you have the eyes to see. But quite a lot of us, was I crazy or did this hiccup? I think it hiccuped. I think we're having some weird and wonderful stuff. No, Sanya, we're not doing tarot readings today. This is Tarot Talk Tuesday.
It's like a lesson.
This is where we talk about the tarot, not actually read it. And when you stitch it all together, there's going to be more than 13 hours of exploration of the tarot here. So no, we had a weird hiccup, Erin, with the craziness today. Don't know why, but there you go. Anyway, your turn. I think you should.
All right. So,
would you care to hold the card?
Okay, I didn't really, but
okay. Well, I would.
He wants to drink coffee.
I
all right.
Need to get.
So
he wants to drink my coffee.
There's something very interesting in the way the cards are drawn.
Something in the way she moves.
Now, the first thing I'd like to say about this card is it is the only card that Pamela Coleman Smith didn't sign.
That really wasn't clever.
That was scary. It's the only card that Pamela Coleman Smith didn't sign. That was Raja trying to get on the table. The cats are going crazy today.
If he pulls the candles off, that'd be just perfect.
Yeah, All Souls Day. Yeah, they stole that from us in around 700 AD, I think. The Christians stole it from the pagans. Anyway, never mind. Yeah, they had to turn Halloween into something for themselves. But back to the Fool. So we noticed that he's got a really long feather in his cap that very much resembles the feather in the cap of the sun, the reborn child, Mabon Modron. So it could be indicating to us that this character has an awful lot of life experience or has completed a journey, right? And we notice that he has a backpack that he's just holding there, and even the flower of innocence are both behind him. Unlike the hermit, who is looking towards the lantern in front of him. So all the light of the supernal, or the sun or the moon, the feather in his cap, the backpack, and the flower are all indicating he's got this. He's got experience, he's got tools, he's got knowledge, but he still has the innocence, and he's still willing to learn. But he knows a lot. So he knows that when he jumps off of this cliff, that one of two things is going to happen. He's either going to find a beautiful way to land, or he's going to learn to fly. So he's going to use the tools and the knowledge and the past life knowledge to make this work for him or her. So when I see this card in a reading, I think it has to do with faith, understanding, and nothing to do with a blind leap. It's all about, no, I've laid the groundwork.
I know where
I've got the tools. I've got the experience. I've got the light. And there's a dog here. I've got some good friends for support. So this is not about being foolish, right? This is about understanding and faith. And I'm going to tell a little story that Skip told about the Fool.
Oh, I love this. I love it.
Right? This is one of my favorite Skip stories. And I know we talk about
Skip.
him a lot, but we miss him terribly.
Hail to the ancestors.
Hail to the ancestors, the elders. All right. So these two farmers had beautiful farms across the street from each other. And their houses were towards the front of their property with beautiful big porches, and their fields of grain and wheat and everything that they were farming was behind the house. So they could see the road, and they liked to watch the comings and goings from the village.
We like to do that on our porch.
Exactly. So this one morning, they were both out on their porch, putting their stuff in their pipe, and they're ready to watch what's happening. So that morning,
earlier on that morning,
the Fool had decided that he needed a new costume, and he asked his wife to make him one that was half blue and half red. So she did. So down the street comes the fool, dancing and prancing in his little costume. And as he passed, the one farmer said to the other, "Did you see that ridiculous red suit?" And the other farmer said, "Red suit? What are you talking about? He was wearing blue today." And they had this huge argument until the fool came home. All right? So I think that the fool is about...
They're both wrong.
They're both wrong, or they're both right. The
It's-
fool is about understanding, trusting, knowing, right? Those farmers had lived across the street from each other for decades. They had worked together, they had helped each other, yet they were willing to argue over the color of the fool's costume.
But there's also a deeper lesson here. Not everything is
It's as it
exactly
seems.
as it appears.
Nor is it otherwise.
So yes, and to honor Skip still further, he would tell us, look and you'll see, but look closer and you'll see
Look again
more.
and you'll see more. Look and you'll see. Look again and you'll see more. So I think that, again, when we're looking at the tarot, we need to look at the color. This is all about yellow, so this is solar plexus. This is energy and willpower. It's interesting that the sun in the card is white, so that could indicate protection for the jump, right?
Could
Be bold and powerful forces will come to your aid. This is a really positive card that I think is very misunderstood by a lot of newbie readers because they think, oh, he's going to jump off a cliff. He's not looking where he's going. He's looking up to the sky. He's going to fall to his death. Don't be stupid, they tell the person they're reading. So I don't think that I can stress being snobby enough. You don't just take the deck out and read professionally. You learn the pictures, right?
20 years experience.
If you want to just read and not learn about the card's meanings, then by all means, please read an oracle deck.
Yeah, grab an oracle
because
deck.
that works with your intuition. It's intuitive. There's no right or wrong. There's a different sense of responsibility. But if you are going to actually read the tarot, please learn the language you are reading. Right? You can't pick up a book in Sanskrit and accurately convey the story unless you can read Sanskrit.
Yeah, and probably in Western heritage as well, you're reading the wrong direction. You're holding the book the wrong way.
Happy birthday, Mike, and good morning, Amber.
So yeah, you've got to love the Fool. And there is nothing, as Lisa says, there is nothing on this card that's there by accident. And if you start to look really, really closely, I mean, even the lines on the rock cliff, I haven't counted them, but I probably should now because I've just noticed them. And again, I'm hearing Skip tell me in my ear, well, see, now you've noticed that. That's important. That's important. You need to pay attention to it. And so, for me, the yellow also is indicative of the rising sun, even though potentially the sun is high in the sky here. But this could indicate, the start of something again, the start of a cycle, spring, dawn, etc., etc. But this may not be the sun at all. This may be the light of the supernals, the undifferentiated potential, if you will, that bursts into existence and comes down that lightning flash. And, wallop, we found ourselves eventually in Malkuth and then try to claw our way back up to enlightenment. But the Fool's journey is repeated, and the Fool's lessons will be repeated until learned. So this is a hugely, hugely important card when it comes out in a reading, because to say it again, we're talking about the person who sat across you at this instant. Even if they've come with a completely unrelated or somebody, or want to know about your grandmother, well, fine, but this is about you.
Unless they've specifically asked you to do what I call spiritual spying.
Yeah,
which is say,
tricky,
what does Greg think about me?
He thinks you're a jerk. But there you go.
Sorry. That was mean, but but you could do, you might get this in answer to a direct question about someone else. But in the spread that's for the person, it is usually for the person.
Absolutely. Front and center.
About that person's enlightenment.
Right? Or life journey, because this is the journey. It is the journey, it's better to travel, and that's it. And when you're traveling, travel light, we acquire so much stuff, we acquire so much baggage. And not all of it's physical. Some of it can be emotional baggage as well. And this can be a reminder,
so.
You don't need to be schlepping that crap around with you either.
Leave the bag and lost and found. The
Exactly.
person who put it on you isn't going to take it back.
Exactly,
The question is, how do you feel about Greg?
If you're asking the question, I suggest that tells you more than you think. That's it. That is definitely the way, If you have to ask, the very fact that you're sat across the table from me to ask about this person who is a potential suitor or whatever, you obviously have concerns.
Yeah.
So if that which you seek you find not within yourself, etc., etc. So the Fool can be brutally honest, without doubt, but sometimes we do need some brutal honesty. We sugarcoat things. We're very good at viscerally isolating ourselves from things as well, And sometimes we do need that reality check, and the Fool can be that reality check.
Pam says it's so true. Watch tarot readings on TikTok. So many don't know the meaning of the cards. Well, the occult and esoteric things and the tarot and all sorts of divinatory tools and the Craft of the Wise Wicca itself is becoming more and more mainstream.
Yeah.
Obviously, because we've reached the age of Aquarius.
Well, more people are waking
and
up.
People are waking up. And this younger generation has really been using divination for self-help, which is wonderful.
It is. No
But
criticism there.
Again, if you are going to read the tarot, you do a great disservice to your karma by not learning the language. Read oracle cards instead. If you don't want to take the time to do the work, to learn the language, and to understand what's going on in those cards, if you don't want to do that, don't take the responsibility of reading tarot. Read oracle.
That's not to say that intuition does not play a
no,
part
absolutely.
in tarot. Absolutely does.
It's bringing the hidden to light, so you do have to have some psychic prowess in order to read the cards. But if you don't know the letter A from the letter Z, it puts a different responsibility on your psychic abilities.
Yeah, and you're there to help your client. There's responsibility there. They put a lot of trust in you by actually coming to you and bearing their soul quite often, and to ask difficult questions, to ask you to look into areas of their life that is potentially problematic. So there is a responsibility. We've all come across the doom and gloom people. Oh, you're going to have a horrible accident, but not before your boyfriend leaves you, and all that sort of stuff. No, for goodness sakes, no. There may be potential nastinesses found in tarot readings, but it's
anytime the whole idea. This says this in my bio. The idea of having a tarot reading, which is also a psychic reading, is to have what's going on illuminated to you, so you can make the best use of it, right? So in other words, here is the potential of what could be coming. If you handle it in this way, things may not work out very good. If you handle it in this way, you may achieve success. But it is the querent's journey, not the reader's journey. So you should point out all of the positive and a few of the pitfalls so that someone could make a better life choice. The other thing that I want to point out is, again, being very snobby, most all of the readers at the shop who read the tarot are also very psychic. And, you know, you've seen maybe some of the days where we've had card of the day and it's been like this. And I've already started to talk about the day. And then it's like, oh, well, what the heck is the card? You know?
It's one of the exercises you give people.
But it is
learning.
Yeah. But I think that is something to take to heart. All of the readers at the shop, whether they're reading tarot or oracle or runes or doing astrology, whatever it is that they're doing, they have to read me as their interview. Understand that I have been reading tarot professionally since 1989.
It's a while.
All right. So I still learn every day. I still learn something new about the cards every time I look at them. I still do research. I still read what other people have found out. You know, I'm just working every day. I learn something, and no one has ever learned everything. But the point that I want to make is when you come to the shop for a reading, you are going to get a genuine psychic reading. The person has read me as their interview because I will not put my name or reputation with someone who isn't sincere. I don't want someone who's gloom and doom. I don't want someone who doesn't know what they're doing. I don't want someone who doesn't deeply care for their client's well-being. So you're never going to get a bad reading. You may not connect with that psychic. Sometimes that happens, right? In other words, maybe someone has said, oh, I know the perfect doctor for you. You have to go and see so-and-so.
And you can't stand them.
And
that's not to say they're a bad doctor. You just personally can't stand them.
Top of their field, but they don't have a rapport with you. You don't like their bedside manner or whatever. So you may go to sit with one of our psychics and your energy just doesn't jibe. You know, you just don't make that connection. Part of it could be that astrologically you don't blend. You know, you might be Gemini and you're sat with a Capricorn and you're so much air and there's so much earth and they're just not making that connection. So just take that into consideration when you're looking to find a reader. You know, it's okay to troll Facebook or TikTok or wherever else, or, you know, or even YouTube. And it's okay to ask for a question of someone or get a reading. But try to also balance that with the reader's intention and experience, right? If you've got someone who's learning, understand they're learning, and what they're telling you may not be accurate. If you've got someone who has an ulterior motive and says, oh, I can see you have this dark energy around
$600
you. You've been hexed by someone. If you give me $200, I'll burn a candle.
Or I'll take your earrings. Yeah, no.
Don't even go there. So just be mindful and present during what's happening in that reading. And
I would say, the one thing I would say as well is, sometimes awkward stuff appears in a reading, but that doesn't mean that you are powerless to do anything about it. It's like a snapshot in time. And it's like me saying to you, you know what, you need to be a little more careful with your driving. If you put on a blindfold and leave your hands off the wheel, I assure you, you will run off the road and have an accident. But if you are vigilant and you look around and you're cautious, you maybe see that, oh, help, you know, that just fell off the back of a wagon there down the road. I'm just going to pull up, and you avoid your accident. It's like giving you like an unfair advantage, you know, seeing stuff in it, that it doesn't have to be that way. Nothing is ever set in stone. There are umpteen paths you can go by. It's only a little snapshot of the here and now, right now. And, you know, so there's an issue. We deal with that issue, you know. Maybe you want to take your uncle to the doctors, you know.
Right.
I'm not going to say your uncle's going to die horribly.
Right,
you know?
we never do that. Shauna's saying thank you for saying this, because some of the readings that she's had lately, the readers, what they're saying doesn't make any sense to the cards they're pulling. Well, I'd like to reiterate this, though. Many times I've sat with someone and said something, and the other person has been a reader of caliber and actually said to me, where does it say that? And I've had to admit, well, that part is my psychic intuition. You know, like putting down a card and saying, oh, this has to do with your brother Robert who lives in Florida. The card doesn't say the name Robert, and it doesn't say the state Florida. So you look at the card and you understand the meaning of that card, and spirit guides you to connect to that person's brother Robert in Florida, which is why we don't allow people to sit in on other people's readings,
God, no.
because we'll be like, this is about your brother Robert who lives in Florida.
Well,
and the person's like, I don't have a brother. And the person sat there taking notes says, oh, sorry, that's my brother Robert in Florida. What about him? So the energy gets jumbled up. So we only allow one person in the room at a time. It's a private experience. It's a very personal experience. It's a very sincere and heartfelt work that we do. So just, you know, be cautious about where you get a reading and what you're paying for it. You know, you don't,
Yes.
in this world, you don't always get what you pay for anymore.
It's
You
true
know,
that.
when we were young, it used to be that if there was the similar item that was crafted and there was one that was like Walmart's for $5, you know that's going to fall apart in 5 minutes. But if there was one that was handcrafted that cost $50 and you paid that money,
Probably
you got
last
what
a
you paid for,
lifetime.
and it was probably going to last you a very long time. So if some, it's kind of that way in this world as well, right? If somebody's asking you for your gas money for a reading, that's one thing. If they're asking you for your grocery money, you may want to wonder if it's going to be worth it or not. But that said, you can't really insult the reader by saying, oh, before I pay for the reading, can you answer one question just so I make sure that you're real? It's very difficult out there these days. 30 some years ago when we started doing this work, every Tom, Dick, and Harry wasn't psychic and wasn't reading the tarot. But now, like Pam is saying...
You're having a rant, aren't you? She's having a rant.
Well, this is going to be our first Tarot Talk Tuesday episode on YouTube. So.
You think?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, fair enough.
And I'm sorry he derailed my train of thought, so I can't help you.
Not
now.
every Tom, Dick, and Harry was a reader back then.
True. And
Bring it
now,
back then.
like Pam was saying, you see them cropping up on TikTok and Instagram and everywhere, and everybody and their brother is psychic. That is true. Everybody and their brother could be psychic if they put in the time and effort and energy to develop that.
It's a skill
Just like
to
we've
learn.
said before, everybody can learn to play the piano. But what I could play on the piano and what Anton could play on the piano are two different things, because he has a lifetime experience and he understands music theory.
Well, I don't know. You'd have
So,
to show me where middle C is.
Get yourself some experience and understand the theory of the tarot, the mythology of the tarot, the psychology of the tarot, and the language of the tarot before you hang your shingle out and charge money to people.
It's pretty involved. There's a lot more to it than just, unwrapping a deck of cards and going, well, let's see what we can do. That's not to say that you're not an intuitive person, but there's a definite language to the tarot.
Yeah, but you
and
could
it's
read an
very-
oracle right away because those pictures speak in a different language. They are an oracle. Think about what that word means. What does oracle mean? To orate a narrative from a picture. Go with that if you don't want to take the time to learn the tarot. Felicia, we are open 12 to 8 Monday through Thursday, and we are open 12 to 6 Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We have 2 or 3 readers on every day. In-person readings are $50 for half an hour, and over the phone it's $55 because of the credit card charges.
Yes. And despite what Google says, because they keep changing
Google
our
keeps
hours.
changing
I have
our
no
store
idea
hours.
why.
I don't know
They
why.
just seem to want to do that, and then we have to go in and change them back.
Right.
We know what hours we're open. I love it when a customer comes in and says, no, it doesn't. It says you're open to this on Google. Hello, we own the store. We got to make that decision. Alphabet does not own this company.
Anyway. All right. So I think my rant is over, but
Good.
really, this whole thing is tied into this card, which is today's Tarot Talk Tuesday card.
The
Know
Fool.
your onions,
Know your
pack
craft.
your tools, and be open and innocent towards learning Have faith in yourself, have faith in the universe, and take the leap. Help others and help yourself. Card of the day.
And it's all about the journey. And the card of the day for today...
Promises.
Oh, how about that then? That doesn't suck, that.
Nope. The Ten of Cups is a promise of happiness. So my reading for you for today is be open to happiness. And like we were saying earlier, you can choose to be happy. You can say, you know what? I am grateful, I am thankful, I am happy, and you'll see how happy you become.
It is, yeah.
What's your reading for this card?
There's an awful lot of good stuff on this card, so align with the good stuff would be the thing today. You know, don't align with the crappy stuff.
Take a cup from that rainbow.
Exactly.
Energy,
be joyful. You know, be joyful. Be the change you want to see in the world. You know, bring that beacon of joy to others. Inspire others. Guide others. Spread love, and you know, your life benefits as a direct result of your actions, because what you focus on comes into focus.
Do a little dance.
Yep, be happy. Don't worry, no, be happy.
Be happy.
Yeah, because if you focused on everything that's bent out of shape, you're going to get quickly bent out of shape yourself, you know. So focus on what's good and right in this world, and you know, what's good and right in this world comes into focus.
Yeah. All right, so have a blessed, wonderful day.
Yes, indeed.
And
I do apologise because I think the tube of view's been a bit crazy today. I don't know. I'm not really seeing. I've been frozen in the same position for the last 10 minutes.
I hope we got it. We might have to use this.
We have it on the card. We have it on the card.
Okay.
So at least we have a recording, so we can do that.
All right, so we are going to start to put up different series of things on YouTube. We're really going to focus on YouTube for the next few months and getting into a rhythm with broadcasting there. And we would love it if you would help us find hundreds of people, thousands of people,
hundreds of thousands of people
to sign up for our YouTube channel. So get people to go over there and subscribe, like, comment, and just help us move forward in that category.
Exactly.
We thank you in advance for your help and energy.
We do. We appreciate that greatly. So thank you so much for watching us today. As Lisa says, please do like, comment, and subscribe if you like what you see. Hit that notification bell so you will be notified when we go online and when we've got new videos for you to see. And we've just about finished editing one, which was our
potting off to get pottery.
Yes, are going potty for pottery or whatever it is. Just it's kind of cool. I have to say, Jennifer and David, they were
just lovely.
Oh,
but we also have already posted the rockumentary of the Crystal Trip.
Check out that one if you haven't seen the rockumentary yet. That's Rocktober.
And we're going to try to do that. We're going to try to put up a series of, you know, this is the merchandising, buying, product making, artistic kind of end of things. You know, and we're going to try to give you information about things, and there'll be maybe even some courses and classes and tips and other things that you can do.
Ooh, how about that? Well, thank you for that. Wendy says it looks good from here, so I'm glad because I've absolutely I'm flying blind here. I don't know what's going on. My computer refuses to really show me what's going on, but I do see the occasional chat coming through. So I think we are still functioning.
And you guys, you're very welcome. We enjoyed doing what we do. We love what we do. But we do take it very seriously. And you know, don't think that I'm being nasty on my soapbox. I'm just trying to say that we take our craft very seriously, and to see people who are just, you know, popping out of the woodwork who don't understand the craft, they could do harm to their client and they could do harm to themselves. They don't understand the karma or responsibility of counseling someone. It's the difference between someone who is a professional counselor with years experience versus, you know, like the nosy mother-in-law who just became a mother-in-law and now wants to advise you
on all sorts of assorted licorice, all sorts. Yeah, you know, it's that old Spider-Man quote, isn't it? With great power comes great responsibility. Somebody comes to you in a potentially vulnerable situation. I'm sure some people get off on the idea that they can instill fear in people's hearts, or they can disturb them, or they can exert some degree of control over them. that to me makes a really sucky person, not just a reader, but
Right.
a really sucky person. That person really needs to have a word with their ego or whatever.
Know who the person is. Word of mouth is a really good way to find out the reputation or the understanding of that reader, or person who is working as a leader in a community, a spiritual community, right? So if someone has, worked as a solitary and done 5 circles and is working with very eclectic energy and doesn't necessarily have a pantheon, if they are now going to claim to be a high priestess and offer you to come into their circle, you need to exercise caution to go into that circle.
Oh my, we are having a rant, aren't
we? So have faith, don't be foolish, and have a wonderful day. We'll see.
Don't be fooled.
We'll see you later. We're going to be on live in a little while with incense.
We're going to get all incensed.
Thank you
today.
all. Have a great Tuesday.
So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Please do like, comment, subscribe, tell your friends about us, all right? And have a beautiful day. Be blessed.